Okay, so when we start step one, the first thing that we want to do is iron our fabric. So you're going to be using an iron. Right here is the steam button. We'll use that in just a minute. And then right here is the temperature control. We probably want it on wool so that it's not too hot. For some of the fabric is synthetic and we don't want to burn it. And then this side is the plate, and that's what you rub on your fabric. And you want to make sure you're really careful with this because it is very hot and it will burn you. So we're going to take our first fabric and I'm going to go ahead and iron it. And I'm just gliding my iron over my fabric to get rid of any wrinkles. And some of your fabric will be called what's called directional print, meaning that like all the dogs and cats are going the same direction. So we just want to make sure when we match up our other piece that they are all going in the same direction. So for step one, after I've ironed my fabric, I want to have my one piece facing up, and then I'm going to take the other piece and I'm going to face it down on top of my first piece of fabric. So I'm putting it face down so that they're together on the inside, and I'm looking at the outside of the fabric. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pin it together. So when you pin, you're going to push the pin in and then go over about 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 an inch and push the end back out. So there's the sharp end of my pin, and there's the plastic part that I hold on to. I'm going to come down to the center and I'm going to do another pin. And then I'm going to come to the very bottom and I'm going to do another pin. So I've pinned it together. So now I'm on step two, and I'm going to go ahead and put my fabric along the 5/8 inch line. I'm going to start at the very top, and I'm going to leave in my pin until right before I get to it. So I'm going to hold on to my threads. I'm going to go about 3 stitches, and then I'm going to back stitch. And then I'm going forward. So right before I get to that pin, I stop and I take it out. Okay, then I'm going to sew all the way down to the very bottom, sewing on 5/8 all the way to the bottom. And before I get to that next pin, I'm going to stop, take it out, sew all the way down to the very bottom, keeping it on 5/8 the whole time. And then right before I get to that pin, take it out, sew all the way down to the bottom. When I get to the bottom, I'm going to back stitch again. 1, 2, 3, 4, go forward, down to the bottom. I'm going to take out my fabric, cut off my threads. Okay, now I'm on step 3. So step 3, I'm going to do what's called a zigzag stitch 1/4 of an inch away from the edge of my fabric. And I'm actually going to move my needle over so it's a little bit closer to the edge. The reason that we do a zigzag, or what's called a seam finish, is so that the fabric doesn't start to fray. As soon as, well, it will start to fray, but as soon as it hits that zigzag stitch, it will stop coming apart and fraying. So how I set up my machine for zigzag is I'm going to push number 2 right here, and I make sure it's a 2 in my screen. And then I'm going to put in my fabric, and I put it on 1/4 inch. So that's the outside edge of the presser foot. I'm going to put my presser foot down, and then I'm going to move my needle over. So my needle position button is this one right here. So I'm going to move my needle. So there's a dot right there, and it's moving over. You want it all the way over to the right so that my needle will be closer to that right edge. And I'm not going to back stitch. I'm just going to take it all the way down to the bottom. See, it's doing a zigzag stitch. And I'm going to do that all the way down to the bottom, keeping it on the 1/4 inch line, which is that outside edge of the presser foot. I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done. Okay, so I've sewn my zigzag stitch. You can see it right here. And the rest of step 3, I'm going to open up my fabric so that it's bigger, and I'm gonna put it face down on the ironing board, and I'm gonna take my iron and I'm gonna press that seam to one side. And this is finishing off step 3. Okay, so I'm gonna press that to one side and give it a little bit of steam. Iron it flat, there we go. And then I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over. And here's what it looks like from the outside. And I'm gonna iron that front. Okay, so there is through step 3. So step 4 is where I'm going to be ironing the band in half. And I'll show you that in just a second. Okay, the band piece is this long skinny piece. I'm gonna iron it flat. So it's been folded, so it's got some wrinkles in it. So I'm gonna iron it flat. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fold this in half lengthwise, or some of you call it hot dog. So we're gonna fold it in half lengthwise and iron it. So we're just ironing it in half, getting a really good fold on the bottom. And that's step 4. And make sure it's all even all the way down. Okay, so I have my band folded in half and ironed. So now I'm going to take my big piece that I sewed together. I'm going to have it facing up. And I'm going to take this top edge of the band where here's my fold at the bottom. Here's the top edge with the 2 pieces. I'm going to line it right up on the top. And I'm going to pin it together. So I'm just going to put my pin through, come back up, come over a little bit, pin it together, come back up. I'm going to keep going all the way across. Put the pin in, come back up. The last one, put the pin in, come back up. Okay, so then I'm ready to sew this. And you're going to sew it just like we did the first one. So we're going to do 5/8, and then we're going to come back and we're going to zigzag. Okay, so I sewed my 5/8 all the way across, and I did my zigzag.